5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All systems go with Josh Appelbaum starts now.
Hello and welcome to episode 451 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. I am your host, Josh Appelbaum. What's going on, everyone? Happy Tuesday, another day here in the arena, guys. We talked about it a little bit yesterday, but this is a transitional period. Football is over with, but I tried to get you guys a little bit excited yesterday because now it's going to be full throttle with college basketball. We're at the tail end of the college basketball season. Before you know it, we're going to have conference tournaments, and then don't look now, but it'll be March Madness. So really excited to really laser focus on college hoops. So I think there's a ton of value out right now. We know a lot about these teams with a big body of work to investigate. Of course, we got our KenPom ratings that we can take advantage of. We got Rhythm, we got Juice Reel edges, and then also, of course, with football being over, you're going to get a lot of recreational bettors moving from football over to college basketball. So hopefully that influx of recreational money, public money, they're going to be taking the better team, the better record, the better ranking. Hopefully that provides some value for us to go the other way and go contrarian. So with that being said, I did mention yesterday, baseball, not too far off either. So I did start my investigation for some MLB win totals, so stay tuned for that. I got a few teams in mind, but I want to kind of see where this late money breaks. And now with spring training starting with, I think, a few teams showing up starting tomorrow, although I'm a Red Sox fan. I saw some Red Sox players show up down at Fort Myers actually yesterday. So baseball's in the air. It always makes me think of one of my favorite quotes of all time, Honus Wagner, who has, I believe, one of the best or most expensive baseball cards of all time. I think it's over like $1 million. But someone asked him, what do you do in the winter when there's no baseball? And he had the greatest response ever. He said, I stare out the window and wait for spring. So again, we're pretty close to not staring anymore, but actually having some games to bet on. So we got baseball, we got college basketball. That's really what we'll be focusing on moving forward here. With that being said, right back to college hoops, guys. I got 3 college basketball plays for you tonight. I have one of my favorite system matches of all time. I have a very gross but super sharp contrarian RLM play in a heavily bet game, and then I got a late game here with kind of a fishy team that isn't as good as the other team based on the one-loss record, but the line, the movement, the splits are going toward the team with the worst record. So you know what we're going to do with that one. So 3 plays overall. Going to see if we can go 2-1, eke out a winning night. Now, looking back to our last night, guys, nice little bounce back after losing Patriots plus 4.5. Complete no-show by my Patriots in the Super Bowl. But we went 2-1 plus 0.6 units to start the week. So we will take it. I had a nice start with an obscure sharp line move with Florida A&M. If you remember, that was a added game, extra game, but we saw that -3 up to -3.5. They had a big lead the entire time, and actually Prairie View made it way too close at the end. So the 3.5 you still covered. You won by 4. The line move obviously came through, but that's the reason why I moneyline short favorites. Because again, one extra free throw here or there, that's a push or a loss. So it's nice to see Florida A&M, and that's what we always talk about. 6-digit rotation number. If there's line movement, it means public doesn't care about it, but sharps obviously like Florida A&M. So that was a nice hit to start the night. Unfortunately, Belmont. I'm so annoyed by Belmont last night. I didn't like the fact that the line did creep back down toward Bradley. So at one point it was Belmont. I want to say they were as high as -2.5, even 3. They ended up closing -1.5 or 1. But still, Belmont was up 3 points with, again, less than 30 seconds left. I don't know why you don't foul up 3. Because you foul up 3, they go to the line. They might make both. You're still up 1. You got a chance to win that game. Idiot Belmont. Stupid coach. I don't know who he is. But they don't foul. And, of course, Bradley hits a 3 to tie the game. And then was even more frustrating is there was this kid West who Belmont had an opportunity. It was tied. I think they had like 20 seconds left. Again, you can hold for the final shot. What does the kid do? He just turns it over. He literally was dribbling on around the 3-point line, makes a cut inward, wasn't even touched, and dribbled the ball out of bounds. So could have lost at the buzzer, but it's annoying to me that they didn't foul up 3. Then you have a chance to win it. You don't even get a shot off. And if you've been betting sports long enough, this happens in other sports too, but if you have that opportunity to win the game late in regulation and you blow it and you force overtime, I feel like 75% of the time you're doomed to lose in overtime, and that's exactly what happened. Bradley went off, so Belmont was a loser, even though, again, they should have won that game. However, we did get a nice break with the Kansas Jayhawks. Kansas Jayhawks came up absolutely huge for contrarian bettors last night. Remember, everybody and their mother was on Arizona, getting nearly 80% of bets in the most heavily bet game of the night. I thought we got a pretty good +2 with Kansas because Arizona opened -2.5, got down to 1.5. However, there was a late breaking injury. Darren Peterson. Guy's really good, but he was a late scratch with flu-like symptoms, and as soon as Peterson was out, that line shot up all the way to Arizona -4.5, even -5.5. So I had a lot of people DM me on Twitter, and again, DMs are always open. I'm always here for you, at Josh_insights. But I had a bunch of people say, hey, do you still like Kansas? What are you going to do? This line went the other way. There's no Peterson. I'll just remind you guys, there's different ways to handle situations like that. You could buy out. You could bet the other side. You could, double down on Kansas +5.5 if you get the best price. I would argue against those. Again, it's up to you how you want to play it, but I'm always of the opinion, I know my buddy Darush and my buddy King Nebuchadnezzar know this as well, but I'm someone who dances with the one who brung me. Again, I always think about that. It's kind of a cliche phrase, but if I get a bad Kansas +2, I thought it was a good one because the line was down to 1.5, shoots up, guys out, I'm going to stick with my original bet. I always try to stick with my original bet because I look at it one of two ways. Maybe you get lucky and they cover or win anyway, or if you lose, I probably deserve to lose that game because I got the wrong number. Luckily, even though Belmont let us down, Kansas came up absolutely huge. Even though Peterson was out, Kansas won the game outright, 82-78. Council and Badunga were absolutely huge. If you know what I'm talking about if you watched that game. But it was great to see that even though Peterson was out, Kansas still got it done. So a massive hit for contrarians. And one little comment, Darren Peterson, he's expected to be the number 1 overall pick. He might be incredible. He is when he plays, but this guy is never available. How many games has Peterson missed? Flu-like symptoms. It's always weird when in a team, when you hang out with your teammates 24/7, how are you the only one with flu-like symptoms who's out? And if he missed a bunch of games with a hamstring, he's got, again, Zion Williamson vibes for me. I don't know. Not that he's, overweight and prone to injury, but the guy is always hurt. It's like you're 18 years old. You should be in your peak, health and youth. And again, maybe he just got sick and there's nothing you can do, but I'm like, Peterson, again, if you follow Kansas, they're really turning it on, playing great, but this guy is always freaking hurt. That would scare me if I'm picking number 1 overall. But who knows? He'll probably be great in the NBA anyway. But with a 2-1 plus 0.6 unit night, we'll take it. We'll put it in our back pocket. We'll reinvest it tonight and try to have a little win streak here started. So with that being said, let's get right into tonight's plays. Another big night of college basketball, and I cannot wait to sweat these games with you guys. I want to start off first with the most heavily bet game of the night, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, Purdue visiting Nebraska. Let's set the stage, talk line movement, split system matches. I'll give you my play for this one. Now, Purdue comes in 19-4 on the year. They're ranked 13th overall. They've won 2 in a row, just held off Oregon 68-64, but they're actually favored by 18.5 at home in that one, so they did not cover. On the other hand, Nebraska, 21-2. They just snapped a 2-game losing skid with an 80-68 win over Rutgers. They're actually favored by 12.5, so lost by the hook there in terms of not covering it, even though they won the game. Now, what have we seen across the market here? Well, this game opened with Nebraska listed as a 1.5-point home favorite. And it's always notable to me. You got 2 good teams, 2 highly ranked teams here, a short number. What do the sharps do? Do they pounce on the good team at home laying a short number, or do they say, hey, that opposing good team, just take the points because they're even? Well, if you look at the open to current, it looks like the line hasn't moved at all. Nebraska open -1.5, they're still -1.5. However, this is what I always stress, and this is a great feature of the Odds Logic live odds page, being able to pull up the line history. Just because it opens at a number and you look and it's currently the same number, don't automatically think, okay, it never moved. What you want to do in these situations is pull up the line history at a couple different books. So when I'm looking at my live odds page with Odds Logic, again, you can always try it out. 7-day free trial, 50% off your first month just by going to oddslogic.com/Josh123. But when I pop open line history for big books like Circa, like Pinnacle, I always look at DraftKings, FanDuel. Again, Bet Online, there's a bunch of books that are meaningful to me. But when I popped open the line history, showing you every move in between, not just the open to current, I noticed that the Cornhuskers at one point got up to -2, even -2.5. So that's important to me. It's important to me that this line never got down to 1. Yes, where it opened and where it's currently at, early afternoon, is the same number, but the line history tells you that all movement liability has been on the Nebraska side. It's not like it got down to 1 or a pick 'em and then came back to 1.5. It's either stayed the same or moved toward Nebraska. So that's my first indication that smart money is leaning Nebraska here. Now, you look at DK, 68% of spread bets, 75% of spread dollars on Nebraska. So kind of a pro and Joe, low bets, higher dollar split in favor of the Cornhuskers. Ken Palm, he has Nebraska winning the game by 3 points, 74-72. So you might say, just lay the 1.5. Again, crazy things happen. When I see Ken Palm predicted 3-point win, they're currently minus 1.5. You know what I like to do, or if you don't know by now, I'm a money line short favorite guy. That just gives me a little bit more cushion. Where if Ken Palm says 3, line's 1.5, they got to win by 2. What if they just win by 1? That's why I want a money line a short favorite here. So I money lined Nebraska minus 120 a little bit earlier today. I think that was at Caesars. Looks like most books are around minus 125 at this point. That's at DraftKings. Some books are minus 130. So again, shop around, but it's really not a bad money line price. What I really like is that at Circa, Cornhuskers are getting 83% of money line bets, over 90% of money line dollars. So that is a good low bets, higher dollar split from the wise guys out in Vegas. And when I was teasing a system match that I love to play, it's when 2 ranked teams face off, take the home favorite straight up. It's a very old system for me, but basically 2 ranked teams take the home favorite. That's 19-11 straight up this year, 63%, and it's 194-79 straight up, 71%, with nearly a 5% ROI since 2021. So in this situation, 2 good teams take the home favorite. That's been the system play historically. Some advantages here for Nebraska: better defensive efficiency, 11th versus 26th for Purdue. Better free throw shooting, could be huge in a tight game, 38th for Nebraska, 105th for the Purdue Boilermakers. Also Nebraska, on defense, they hold their opponents to a better effective field goal percentage, 38th versus 125th. And they force more turnovers on defense, 67th versus 213th. Nebraska's also been really good at home. They're 12-1 straight up this year. So you add it all up, guys. Again, I always try to just give you guys little nuggets, little tips, recommendations. You see a line that looks the same, open to current. Again, don't assume that it just stayed there the whole time. Pull up line history. Liabilities bent toward Nebraska. We got good splits. We have system matches with that 2 ranked teams take the home favorite. And then lastly, I noticed a 7% sharp mush edge from our friends at Juice Reel, also on Nebraska. So my first play of the night, let's go Cornhuskers, money line, win the damn game. I got Nebraska minus 120. Again, some shops now as high as minus 125, minus 130. Next one for you, our biggest contrarian play of the night. North Carolina visiting the U. 7 p.m. tip here in Miami. We got UNC, 19-4 on the year. They're ranked 11th overall. They've won 5 straight, and they just upset Duke 71-68. They won that game outright as a 6.5-point home dog. Meanwhile, Miami, not too shabby either. They're 18-5. They've won 3 of their last 4. They just beat Boston College 74-68. Didn't cover, though, as an 8.5-point road favorite. So what have we seen across the market here? Well, this game opened North Carolina listed as a very short 1.5-point road favorite. And the public says, are you kidding me? UNC is the way better team. They're ranked. They got a better record. They just beat Duke. How are they only laying 1.5 on the road? Public thinks it's too good to be true. 78% of spread bets are laying the points with UNC. However, even though you're getting this massive support toward the Tar Heels, North Carolina has not risen minus 1.5 up to minus 2.5, minus 3. They've actually stayed right where they're at, minus 1.5. In some books are even down to 1. So let's take a step back here. In one of the most heavily bet games of the night, we have the public hammering North Carolina. However, this line has stayed the same or dropped toward the very unpopular Miami, Florida. That tells us that we have a very sharp line freeze, even some reverse line movement, where the line has stayed the same or moved toward the U, even though the public's pounding the Tar Heels. So that's a great indicator of liability on Miami, even though the books are taking just hand over fist Miami, North Carolina tickets, I should say, from the public. They aren't going up. They're staying the same or dropping toward Miami. Even if you take away that really sharp line freeze or RLM, Miami is just a straight up contrarian play. They're kind of in the same spot as Kansas last night, where no one wants to play them. It's a heavily bet game on ESPN. Just from a fade the drunk guys at the bar standpoint, a lot of value here to go with Miami. They also are an unranked versus ranked system match. So we have Miami unranked, even though they're 18-5, good record, unranked. And we are, of course, in a spot here where we can sell high on UNC after a big upset win. Ken Palm, believe it or not, has Miami winning the game by 1 point, 79-78. So some good actionable value on the Hurricanes, plus 1.5. Miami has a couple advantages here. They have the better effective field goal percentage, 18th versus 45th. They also have the better offensive rebound percentage, 22nd versus 102nd. They have the better defensive efficiency, 42nd versus 48th. They do a better job of turning their opponents over, 81st versus 342nd. Also, we got Miami 12-2 at home. UNC is just 500 on the road, 3-3. So I jumped on Miami plus 1.5. Again, this is our Kansas play from last night. Hopefully no injuries that will move the line like last night. But there's also a 21% sharp mush edge from our friends over at Juice Reel. So it tells me wise guys, wise gals like you out there listening also who have synced up their books and signed up with Juice Reel going the U as well. So let's see if we can get a contrarian play to pop for us. Miami, how about you win the game outright? But of course, again, some books are at 1. You can still get Miami plus 1.5. So that's what I'm doing. Miami plus 1.5. Last bet of the night, 9 o'clock. We got Oklahoma State visiting Arizona State. Now, Oklahoma State comes in 16-7 on the year. They just saw their 2-game win streak come to an end. However, they lost to Arizona 84-47. Didn't cover as a 20.5 point road dog. Meanwhile, Arizona State 12-12 on the year. However, they have dropped 3 of their last 4 and just came up short against Colorado 78-70. Didn't cover as a 3.5 point road dog. So what do we see across the market? Well, this game opened Arizona State listed as a 2.5 point home favorite. And right off the bat, that kind of is interesting to me. If Arizona State is a 500 team and Oklahoma State is 16-7, even when you apply home court, why is Arizona State a 2.5 favorite? Again, shouldn't this be a pick'em? Shouldn't Oklahoma State maybe be favored based on the 1-loss records? Well, the public says the wrong team is favored. They're running to the window to go Cowboys plus the points. So right now, 57% of spread bets are going with Oklahoma State, I should say. However, even though majority tickets are on Oklahoma State, we've seen liability toward Arizona State. So nearly 60% of bets are going OK State, but Arizona State is minus 2.5, minus 115. So liability with the juice. And then also, some books have even gotten up to 3 or even touched 3.5. So all movement and liability has been on that Arizona State side. So this looks like a fade the trendy dog play to me. Public OK State, liability here toward Arizona State at circa only 25% bets, but 37% dollars on the spread are Arizona State. So a good split in Vegas on the Sun Devils. Ken Palm has Arizona State only winning by 1, 83-82. So I'm going to go money line here. I got Sun Devils at minus 150. That's from the score. Again, shop around because some books are as high as minus 160, even minus 170. But I don't want to win by 1 and lose my bet. So that's a money line short favorite play for me. Arizona State does have the better free throw shooting, 99th versus 146th. They commit less turnovers on offense, 124th versus 146th. And they force more turnovers on defense, 74th versus 155th. Now, Arizona State, 6-5 at home. Nothing amazing, but, above 500 at home. OK State is only 2-4 on the road. So they've struggled a bit on the road. You add it all up. Again, why is a 12-12 team that's lost 3 out of 4 opening as a favorite and becoming more of a favorite against a 16-7 team? Well, it tells me smart money here is on Arizona State. So I'm going Sun Devils, who, by the way, have an 11% sharp mush edge from our friends at Juice Reel. And I don't know if I mentioned this, but Miami has a 21% sharp mush edge at Juice Reel. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I forgot. Nebraska, remember I said this, 7% sharp mush edge. So with that being said, I'm going Sun Devils. Win the damn game, minus 150 on the money line. So Nebraska, money line. Arizona State, money line. Miami, let's take the 1.5. So that about does it for episode 451 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. This is the part of the pod where we wrap things up, and we always start first by saying thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for grinding in the arena with me every single day. If you enjoy the insights, you want to help me grow the podcast, please could you give it a 5-star review on Spotify or iTunes. Click rate and review if you want to leave a comment, if you want to click the follow button, if you want to retweet the pod every time I put it out on Twitter early afternoon, or if you want to recommend the pod to a friend. That would all be fantastic. Next, if you enjoy this style of sports betting, data-driven, sharp contrarian betting, focusing on line movement, bet splits, system matches, taking advantage of discrepancy plays from Ken Palm, making bets with our head and not our heart. That's the whole point of this podcast. But if you want to learn more about data-driven betting, all the things we talk about, you want to hold it in your hand, be able to take notes and go back to things, well, you know what you should do? Go to Amazon.com, type in the NFL Sharp Betting Playbook or the Everything Guide to Sports Betting. Those are my 2 books. Very proud of both. If you want to grab one or both of them, give them a 5-star review on Amazon. Leave a nice comment if you feel so inclined, and then bring those books to the sports book. I'll sign them for you. I'll buy you a beer or a ginger ale, and we'll sweat some games together. Next, have you downloaded Rhythm and Juice Reel yet? My 2 favorite sports betting apps, Rhythm for their AI-backed models and predictions for game bets and player props, Juice Reel, so many great different features. You can get the Robo Jackson best bet picks, the sharp mush indicators, the arbitrage plays, the shop for the best line futures. I forgot to add that Miami, we're on them +1.5 tonight. Well, that is one of the 2 best bets from Robo Jackson from the Juice Reel app. Also, if you want to support the pod, I'm gonna pass the hat, give you a tip jar here. If you'd like to support the pod for $5 a week, or to be totally specific, $4.99 a week, you can get the ASG best bets as soon as I play them. I got my books synced up to Juice Reel. I bet them at my book. They go right to the Juice Reel app, and you can get those plays for, again, $4.99 a week, so less than $1 a day to support the pod. So if you haven't done it yet, download Rhythm, download Juice Reel, give them a 5-star review in the App Store. Next, do you have a live odds page? So important. Try to explain the importance of, pulling up the line history, shopping for the best price, finding that best number. But really the importance of a live odds page is being tied in, to the second, updated numbers, tracking the whole market. That's really a huge key if you want to be a data-driven bettor, because that's where a majority of your data is coming from. What are the numbers? How are they moving? And then how can we decipher what those numbers mean? So if you don't have a live odds page, you need one. If you have one and maybe it's free, but it's slow, it's delayed, and you have no clue where the books are coming from or the data is coming from, or maybe you have a live odds page and you like it, but it's really expensive, you know what you should do? You should give Odds Logic a shot. Go to oddslogic.com/Josh123. That'll give you a 7-day free trial, 50% off your first month of service. So that about does it for episode 451 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast on a Tuesday. As always, guys, I'll leave you with 2 final thoughts. One, whether I see you at the Borgata in Atlantic City, Twin River in Rhode Island, the Brook in New Hampshire, Foxwoods or Mohegan Sun down in Connecticut, at the Encore in Boston, Plainridge Park Casino, MGM Springfield, the Nash in my neck of the woods, on the border of Massachusetts and Nashville, New Hampshire, or out in the desert where the True Grinders get down, where Billy Walters sends his number runners, where the lowest juice possible is found at the South Point, wherever it may be, or of course, jump in the stadium swim pool when you cash a big ticket at Circa. Wherever it may be, you're going to walk up to me. You're going to show me a Florida A&M, obscure, sharp, added game, extra game line move. But most of all, don't show me Belmont. Again, I can't believe. How do you not foul up 3? Show me a Kansas ticket. Again, Peterson left us high and dry, but the boys battled and came through with an outright winner. So it was great to see Kansas come through for the team. So show me a Florida A&M ticket, a Kansas ticket. First one's on me, next one's on you. We'll post about the book so that Sharp Contrarian plays all night long. So as always, guys, coming off a 2-1 or a 1-2, a 3-0 or an 0-3, a winning night, a losing night, a hot streak, a cold streak, whether we feel like we're on fire and can't miss or cold as ice and can't catch a break, again, that's betting. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be good days and bad days, just like in life. So we just got to stick with it, play the system matches, be disciplined with our bankroll management, flat bet, 3% of our bankroll per play. And if we can find those system matches, games that fit our model against the public, with the house, with the pros, flat bet, avoid parlays and get that CLV. If we can do that, which I'm confident that we can, then guess what? We're going to be successful sports bettors. So have a great Tuesday night, everybody. Let's get a couple winners on the college basketball hard court, and then we'll be right back at it tomorrow for a little hump day edition. That'll be a Wednesday edition, episode 452 of the All Systems Go Sports Betting Podcast, powered by Rhythm. Good luck, everybody, and have a great night.